Hey guys. All right, Gubby, I will definitely tell her. She got her T-shirt today from the kiddos. The it's like a Mario landscape. It says Super Mario. They thought it was hilarious. All right, brother. Thanks for stopping in, brother. Appreciate it. We'll get started in just a second. I am working on customizing a few things in Ludus real quick.
I'm back, baby.
Hey, Chris. Shut up, baby. I know it.
So files are big. It takes like 50 megabytes to store 4 minutes of audio. But if we delete everything that the brain can't hear, we can make the files much smaller. Your brain is what processes all the stuff that you get through your ears. So the first thing is, you have a limited range of what you can hear. So it starts about 20 hertz, goes up to about 20 kilohertz, and then you're into dog whistle range, and then afterwards all kinds of crazy stuff. And outside of that, you can't really hear anything, but inside of that, you can pretty much hear stuff. One of the first things I'm going to demonstrate is called the missing fundamental. So all sounds are made up of sine wave, and there's a fundamental one that gives you the pitch, and then some other ones. And essentially what happens is if you delete the fundamental pitch and keep all of the rest of them, your brain actually will fill in the fundamental.
Oh, I didn't even notice the timer was up. My bad. All right, let's get started. My bad, my bad, my bad. Oh, what is this? What is this? Hang on. The camera button is busted.
Your brain will fill in
Did it work?
the fundamental pitch for you.
Hey, there it goes. All right, what's up, everybody? Tag VM only. What? What?
You would think that you would
I am working on setting up something real quick, everyone. I hope y'all had a good day. I thankfully had a pretty chill day.
You hear things that happen in the world. Air vibrates, it vibrates your ear, your brain hears it, but it's really like magic. There's a lot of weird stuff that goes on.
Hang on one second. So what I'm doing here is
The pitch rising.
this is garbage. So what we've got is I was going to go through the Dracarys lab. I forgot we had it set up. So this is kind of like the where is it?
The pitch rising.
This is like the Game of Active Directory custom lab that they've got up.
Here, and I'm going to show you what this is.
Oh wait, here we go. Okay, cool. They've actually already got the directions. This is what I was actually just looking for, and I was trying to do it by hand. But they've already got the directions. So, what we already set up in here was...
Another thing that's kind of funny is
somewhere in here. Dang it, I must have closed it. But anyway, the Dracarys lab was like the custom challenge lab from the GOAD suite, right? Put up by Mayfly. All the cool Game of Active Directory stuff. I forgot we already had it set up. I was like, dude, we need to go through that. But... that lab doesn't have an attack box in it. So I'm working on going through and adding one real quick in here. So that way we can have it up and running. I was going to add a separate Kali and Mythic setup, but I don't think I want to do that. I think what I'm going to do here is we're going to take out the Mythic setup here. And we're just going to stick to the Kali VM. It should be beefy enough to go run Mythic once we get it up and running. Let's see. In the past, I couldn't hear Bender. I was happy it worked this time. It always plays. It's just if it plays while I'm talking, it plays it at a lower volume. So that's probably why. So update. I did an OffSec web app assessment last week. I had no idea Python would be involved in the wacky world of web app pen testing. Oh yeah. Oh yeah, lots of Python. Suddenly, I'm grateful I did all this Python in the data science program. That's right. That's right. Oh, dude, Python is super handy, especially when you want to go prototype tools, and it's so easy to code in that a lot of security tools just get coded up in Python. Especially once you throw things like Ultraviolet in there that make package management stupid easy. It's super helpful. All right, let's see. So I've got the lab up and running right here. Let me exit out of this. Let's see. Ludus range. I think it's list in here. Yeah, so all we've got is we have our router. There's a DCS server and a Linux machine. The Linux machine is where we're going to get the foothold. But we need a Kali machine in here. We need some Kalis to go work-ins. So... that's what I'm looking at real fast is adding this to it. So I already did this part. We got the config here. I copied it over to a YAML file. Let's see. Let me go double check what we've got in here. See how this compares to it. Let's see. So we have Kali. It is x64 template. VLAN 10, last octet. I tell you what, we'll change this to 100. We'll just leave it like that. We got our RAM and CPU set, Linux true, testing, snapshot false, block internet false. All right, cool. So here's where we go through and we edit it. And then we'll set, it's TAC-T-VM deploy. That's what it was. Okay. So let me change that. So after we edit this, what we're going to do is we're going to do a config set. So let me do a config set, and then we'll do a deploy. And it should be VM deploy, not VM only. It's a little bit different there. All right, cool.
So you might as well delete that. And the weird thing about massive
Awesome. So now we just have to go through and let this thing finish real quick. Let's see. Ludus range, logs. Yeah, I think it's logs tac F. We can follow it. We'll see whenever this finishes up. We'll let this deploy. We'll do a couple of updates and housekeeping to Cali, and then we'll start hacking on this little lab here. Is this still part of the Hackbot lab? Eventually. I'm still thinking about Hackbot. It has kind of gone on the indefinite back burner. As much as I like it, and as much fun as I had with it, there's a lot of different pieces of information that I'm trying to bring together, and it became very scope creep. So I'm still thinking about it, Chris. I need to take some time to go back and work on it. I just haven't wanted to work on that part on stream because it's very tedious. J Money, what's up, dude? I have a hard time. I'm having a hard time setting up the training on the Kali Linux. Which one are you working on, dude? I've got a few minutes here, and not like questions have ever messed with me anyway. Oh, cool. I think it's done. Skipped 39. What? What? Let me go check something real quick. Oh, we got Cali. Cali's up. Nice. Nice. Now the question is, can we reach it? Because there was recently a change into how Ludus works. Now you can have multiple ranges per user, which means you can kind of have conflicting overlap. It used to be one range per user, and that made it nice and isolated. So now the question is, can I go get to that? Let me see. I think this should be, we get the IP address real quick. Break out of here. Let's see. So this should be, oh, interesting. It give it a different last octet. 10.4.10.18. How strange. Okay. Let me go see if I can get to that real quick. Let's see. Nope. 10.4.10. What was it? 118. I think it's 7.4.4.3. Can I reach that? I don't think I can. Hang on one second. I am double checking something real quick on this computer. Hang on, I need a terminal. I gotta check something. So everything usually I connect over to the lab through Tailscale, not using WireGuard. Let me see if I can find something here real quick. I don't think I have JQ on here. I do not. Self capabilities. Okay. Actually, hold on. I think I know where to check this. Let me check something real quick. I need to come back over to right about meow. Let's see. Do I have JQ on here? I do. Okay. Hang on. I want to grab something here. I gotta see which routes I'm actually sending out there. None? Rude. Alright, that's not what I wanted. Oh, the GOAD DRACARYS one? I'm installing it on my Kali OS. Are you trying to do it in well, maybe in VMware. Are you trying to do it like a VMware or VirtualBox? Also, hey, Potion. Have you seen that new worm that goes from PC to phone? Like, no one's talking about it. No, I hadn't seen that, man. Shoot me some info on it. That would be pretty sick to check out. Let's see. All right. How can I check this out? I might just need to go get the WireGuard config. I don't think I have WireGuard set up in here. Crap monkeys. Hang on one sec, guys. I'm trying to figure out. I gotta check what routes I've got advertised, because it looks like I'm missing some in here. Yeah, that should be advertised right there. Hold on. I think I know what to do here. Let's see. We've got GOAD in here. We have... Let me duplicate this real quick. Let me change this. Change that to GOAD. Move this up to right about here. And then change the IP address of this. We should be good. Because this needs to match what our IP address over here in the lab was. So this should be 10.4.10.118. Oh, I was hitting it on the wrong port. Yeah, that's fine. Let's see. Let's just pull this up now. Yes. Hey, let's go. Nice. Nice. All right. Let's do some housekeeping here real quick. First thing let's do. Let's see. I want to go fix sudo real quick. Sudo vim etc. Let's do that. Put that in there. Change that from here. Change this to just Cali. Right. Put. There we go. Let me cat that real fast. Okay, fine. Sudo. There we go. Excellent. Hold on. I'm going to try one more thing here. Sudo echo. I'm just making sure the sudo change worked. If I can type. I can't type. There we go. All right, cool. Now we have insta sudo. Better than insta ramen. All right. Let's see. So now what I want to do is, let's just sit up to root. Let's cd over to opt. And then what I want to do is, I want to do a git clone for Mythic real quick. Let's go get Mythic set up. Close that. Overview. Let's see. Where's the command? Here it is. Take that out. Drop that in there. Boop. All right. Let me clone that down real quick. It'll take it a sec. Not that, actually. Cool. So it goes from phone link and Bluetooth, travels to your linked phone, parses a database for SMS codes. Oh, damn. Trojan abuses Microsoft Phone Link app to steal passwords. RIP. Let me see. Oh, I need to move that. Move Mythic to just... Nope. To Mythic. Let's see. I think I need to do make. What was... I think I'm missing something. Yeah, it should just be make. Mythic, let's see, CLF? That is not what I wanted. All right, that's fine. Let's do this. Install Docker Kali. We'll go ahead and let that run. We'll get Docker set up real quick, and then I need to figure out why Make wasn't working, so we can go build the CLI. That was rude. I need the CLI. That sounds pretty sick. I mean, especially if you got something that can go steal like OTP codes being sent to your phone. Now, chances are that it's probably stealing like SMS codes. It's linking. You're getting those SMS codes are probably being written to a database on the phone, and if your phone linking them down, then you can go read that. Still sounds pretty cool. All right, let's get Docker set up so we can get Mythic up and going. And actually, while this is working, let me check something here real quick. So this is our entry point here, 10, 4, 10, 12. So let's go, we'll start an in map on that guy. Okay, hang on. I need an alias in my ZSH file. Vin.zshrc, and then actually I'm just gonna put this down here at the bottom. Open. All right, I need an alias. There we go. Let me source that real quick. All right, hold on. Let me check the DMs real quick. I mean, it looks pretty cool from what I can see. I haven't gotten the whole thing. I can only see like the first couple hundred lines in it. That sounds pretty cool, man. All right, hang on. Bin, let's see. Alias, Docker, sudo Docker. This is the epitome of lazy. There we go. There we go. All right, cool. So we got that. Let me come back over here. We got Docker up and running. Oh, it couldn't make it because we didn't have Docker yet. Okay. Now we should have our Mythic CLI. There we go. All right, let's get a little bit of Mythic action going on here. Get this all nice and configurated. Good. Looks pretty cool, though, Potion. All right, well, this is building up. I hope you all had a wonderful day. I had a pretty chill one today. Went to church, went and saw my mom. Did a little bit of work on the four-wheelers, getting ready for race weekend. We got one more race before the summer break. So we take, because Texas is just hotter than hell, right? We take off June, July, and August from racing. So, well, actually from the Cross Country Racing League. There's another one that's starting up during the summer called the Full Moon Series. So it races on Saturday nights. So if that's going to become like a regular thing, I don't know which Saturdays it does it, then I'll work on adding another stream day into the mix where we can actually have some time to chill out and not just constantly missing out on Sundays, or Saturdays, I mean. Because I like doing the streams. I like coming to hang out with everyone. Especially when we get fun labs like this one. Now, one of the other cool things about going through these labs is it's giving me ideas on, like, eventually, since Chris was actually asking about getting back to working on Hackbot, this is going to give me ideas for working on that. Yes, yes. I'm looking forward to it. Looking very forward to it. In the past, we started building Hackbot by hand. Then we started working on it with Claude Code. And eventually then I decided I needed to kind of re-overhaul it from the beginning. I might actually work on developing it with Codex. And the reason for that is because Claude Code does a pretty good job of Python. However, Codex is really built to work with Python. That's kind of the distinction between the two of them. everything over in the Anthropic sphere is really pushing towards Bun and JavaScript, whereas everything over in the OpenAI sphere is really pushing towards Python. All right, cool. This is working. I need to go change something though. Need to find networking. Yeah, networking. I need to change this to host. And then I need to restart everything. That way it's not going to try and use its bridged networking. That's going to be a pain. I want it to just be pure local Cali up and running. Hey, Neural. I noticed it does a pretty good job on the C and C++ scene. Which one, Claude or Codex? Because I stopped using Claude Code for maybe about a month and a half because it just degraded to shit. And now it's actually gotten back to where it's running decently. I'm still not using Opus 4.7. I'm still using 4.6. Codex? Okay. I haven't tried it with I haven't tried Codex doing any C or C++. I take that back, actually. I got a project where I'm working on porting a bunch of Beacon object files, and it's actually done a really good job on those. Like, definitely troubleshooting them. So I've got a blog post I'm going to be working on probably this week, explaining the program and like how it's working. And so far, what it's doing, and I want to give it away, but I've ported a whole bunch of the situational awareness buffs over to it, and I'm going to be working on porting a bunch of others in there. All right, cool. Mythic is coming up. Excellent. Excellent. All right, I'm going to get a couple things set up in here, and then what we're going to do is we're going to snapshot all the VMs. So we've got Mythic set up. Let's see. All right, I'm going to do one more thing here, which is I'm going to install a bunch of the default tools into Kali. I'm going to let that run for just a second. Oh, I need to do something else. Oh, wait, it can't. Dang it, it can't do that while we're doing this other stuff. Crap, that's all right. Hang on. I can do this through Firefox. I just don't like Firefox. And it makes me sad that I don't like Firefox. Firefox used to be amazeballs. Let's see. This needs to be. Go to localhost on 7443. Accept risk. Continue. All right. So this should be Mythic admin. Oh, I gotta go get the Mythic admin password. Let's see. Rep for admin from mythic.env. There we go. I need that. Let's bring this over here. Sure, save that. All right, and I gotta go add me a new user here. So come over to. Used to be. Ah, there we go. Add a user. Username, Blaise. Password 1234. Password 1234. Create. Excellent. All right, and he'll be an admin. There we go. Now I can have a dedicated user to work in. So let's go. Password 1234. There we go. All right, create an operation. This will be drag. Can I spell Dracars? Thing like that. And for some reason, it doesn't populate down here. There we go. Make that current. Now we're talking. All right. We got to do a couple other things real quick. We're just setting up the box real quick. Ah, damn, that's still installing. That's okay. CD to op mythic. And then mythic CLI install GitHub I need to get a couple of goodies set up for Mythic. We need, not Poseidon, we need Apollo. We grab this. Let's go add Apollo into the mix. Boop. There we go. So Apollo's installing, but to run Apollo, we're going to need, let's see, Mythic C2 HTTP profile. There we go. We need the HTTP profile. I think we also need the SMB profile as well. Now we got to give this a second to finish building. But hey, this isn't bad for setting up a whole lab in just a few minutes. Anyway, so yeah, I hope everybody had a wonderful Sunday. Like I said, I had a pretty chill one. I finally beat Sonic Frontiers. The kids were begging me to finish playing. I didn't realize how close I was to the end. We beat it. The final boss fight was actually kind of lame, unfortunately, even playing on hard mode. But they were happy to see the ending, even though the ending was actually pretty anticlimactic. All right, let's install HTTP. And then I think the other one I'm going to need here is, we're probably going to want SMB as well. Oh, you know what I just realized? We are going to need Poseidon. Yeah, we'll need SMB and we will need Poseidon because we're going to be dealing with a Linux box in here. SMB.get. SMB should be real fast as well here. I love that Sega took the risk with that game, offering something different for Sonic. I really enjoyed the game, Jack, actually. And the only reason I started playing is because my kiddos were so bad at it. They were missing so much, and they were whiffing on a lot of the basic mechanics. And so when I started playing and they started learning stuff, eventually they started then exploring the game more because it's kind of open world-ish if anybody who hasn't played it. And once they started doing that, actually they found cool secrets they were showing me. So that was really cool, right? They were missing a ton. I came in, I showed them a bunch. Now they were coming in finding all these little nuggets of stuff that you can do. I'm like, I didn't know you could do that. So it was a really fun learning experience with them. I really tried to get into it, just couldn't really enjoy the experience. Never played it for longer than an hour or two. I played it for, at most, usually about an hour at a time. Because that's about the most time I could squeeze in before the kids went to bed. And sometimes as much as 2 hours. But most of the time, it was for an hour at a time. And it was spread over a long time. So it took me probably, I think I started playing it around January. It took me till May here to get 40 hours into the game and beat it. So I wasn't playing very frequently, but they were happy to see the ending. There is one cool part at the end there that they thought, oh, that's so cool. And then after you beat the game, you unlock something called the Battle Rush, where you can go through and just fight enemies in waves, and you can get a rank for that. And they were all excited about that because now they can go load up my save game and go play Battle Rush and get to it so they can go fight the big titans for each level. So that's all they really wanted. So now they play on my save game. All right, gotta get Poseidon. Come on, little Poseidon, you can do it. Wish this would install faster. Hey, Killjoy, thanks for coming online, man. I hope you're having a wonderful Saturday. A stupendous, super, serendipitous, superlicious Sunday. I gotta get more S adjectives in there. But welcome in, man. Yeah, so for anybody who's wondering what we're doing here, in fact, hang on, I'm gonna go grab it real quick. I will go... I can't believe I closed it. Mayfly Dracarys. Yeah, here we go. Let me go pin this over to the chat and see what... I'll pin that up real quick for everyone. Pin till I manually remove it. There we go. Yeah, so that's the lab that we're working on right now. Oh, wait, it pinned the wrong one. There we go. It cycled just as you sent that message, Killjoy. It's like pinned. All right, cool. So I don't know anything about Dracarys other than, as opposed to like Game of Active Directory, which is basically damn vulnerable Active Directory, huge number of exploits in there. This one is meant to be more targeted and a single attack path you can go through in there. So that's what we're going to do with it. Okay, Mythic should be up and good now. Let's go to installed services. All right, so we see Apollo, we see Poseidon, and we see our HTTP and our SMB. Good. Let's see. Once this update finishes, I think we'll be solid. Actually, there's one more thing I want to go set up. I want to go set up Bloodhound. Hang on, I'm trying to see how do I need to go set up Bloodhound for this. That's not helping. Hang on, we'll go look it up here. Bloodhound CE install. See, we already have Docker up and going. We want to get down the tarball. So we'll go grab that real quick as well. Cool, we got that. And then let's go ahead and untar this sucker. We'll go extract it out. Oh, it's just a Bloodhound CLI. Okay. Oh, that's fine. We can just run that. Bloodhound CLI and then install. Okay. Hang on, I don't want to run this while this is finishing. So we'll finish this up and then we'll go set up Bloodhound and then we'll be, I think, Gucci. We can go snapshot this box. Excellent. All right, so that's going. Let's do Bloodhound install. Since we're doing a whole bunch, since we're doing mostly Windows and Active Directory in this will be super helpful. Ooh, that's a lot to extract. It's chunky. Trying to think if there's anything else I might want to get while we're at this. Don't think so. All right, creating all of the containers for us. Error response. What? Let's see. It says there's something already listing on 8080. What could that be? Let's see. Ah, okay. It's because we already have... What is this? We already have Mythic running on the box. That's all right. Let's go edit this. Let's see. Search for edit. All right, so we could just go change the Bloodhound port value in here. What do we have for a port in here? Neo4j port, web port, Bloodhound port. Okay. Let's see. Let me find that real quick. These can be modified into an env file. Okay, let me exit out of this. Let me just cd over to here and see if we've got a .env file. We don't have a .env file. Rude. Where's that need to be set? Okay, it's going to be in here. All right, so let's grep core underscore port from docker compose YAML. There we go. And then what I want to do is take this, let's grab this guy right here, copy, and then we'll vim.env, and we will just drop that in here. We're going to make this 108080, or yeah, 188. There we go. And then, oh. What commands do I have? Let me see. Check completion config, down, up, install. Do I just need to run the install again? All right, fine. Install one more time. Ah, there we go. Cool. So now it came up. Although it says it's on 8080. That is not correct. It should be on 108080. Hold on, let me go try this real quick. Yeah, that's what I thought. You should be 18080. What? What? Why you do this? What are we building? So we're setting up, if you check out the pinned link in here, this is Dracarys, which is a variant of the Game of Active Directory lab, but it's only 3 machines. And so the purpose of this is not to be something like, it's meant to be like a challenge lab. Basically not for beginners, but as opposed to GOAD, which is a big expansive lab with lots of vulnerabilities in it, this is a challenge lab, a lot more focused, and you have like, I think, one path that you got to go. So you're first going to compromise, where is it? We only have 3 machines in here. We have a Linux machine, we got a server, we got a domain controller. So somehow we're going to compromise the Linux machine, jump from that to server, and I think somewhere from that to the domain controller. So that's how we're going to kind of boop around this guy real fast. I say real fast. I don't know how long it's going to be. I don't know how long he took it. I didn't read anything ahead of time on it. Let's see. So why did that come back as... Let's see. What's running on 8080? This should be Docker proxy. Yeah, 18080. We should have that in there. Oh, there it goes. For some reason, it just failed the first time. All right. Let's go get that real quick. So I need to log in as admin with this password right here. Copy that. I'm just making sure this is up and running, and then we're going to snapshot this box. Close. Let's definitely flip this to dark mode. Okay, cool. Let me log out. I'm going to log back in and have it save the password this time. Save. Okay. There we go. We don't have any files to ingest just yet. I just wanted to get it up and running for the first time. So now what we'll do is we're going to come over here, and I think it's Ludus. Is it range snapshot? No, it's just snapshot. Snapshot, create, and then I think it's all. Okay, let's do this. We'll just call this base install. That should go snapshot each one of them. We can see it over the Proxmox server. There we go. So we should see 4 snapshots pop up in here. Do you have any recommendations when it comes to using undetectable VMs? Undetectable in which sense? Some of these are failing. Yeah, snapshot create, clean setup. That should have been fine right there. Why did that fail on us? You have failed me for the last time. Oh yeah, I see DMs as soon as they come in, Potion. Sounds pretty cool. Oh, so I'm trying to detonate a ransomware on a VM to see what it does, but it fails because it sees that I'm in virtual machine. Gotcha. So the only way to kind of work around that, Neural, is there may be some VMs like... what is the one? Hang on. Actually, I think Ludus may have one here. Let me see. Let me check the malware lab real quick. Check the Remnux VM right here. So setting up something like Remnux may help with that, but at the end of the day, you might have to just actually deal with debugging it and seeing where the ransomware is detecting that it's being running. Or like Potion said, you could try throwing it up in any run. Any run might be able to go through and do it. Because there's a lot of things that it can go look at as part of like anti-analysis techniques. So there's multiple ways it can go check and see if it's in a VM. There's a bunch of ways to check and see if it's being debugged. And it just becomes an annoyance game, essentially. The authors of it are trying to make it just annoying enough that you give up and don't want to reverse it. But there are ways to get around it. All right, so why did our snapshots on 133 and 134 fail? Let me try this again here. VM IDs. I think the VM IDs I want here are 133, 134. Let me try these again real quick. If these fail again, what I'll do is I'll go in and I will reboot the boxes, and then we'll try it again. Because I don't want the reason why I'm doing the snapshots is because if I accidentally go and BTFO one of these boxes. All right, so it's still failing. So 133, which is our DC. We want to reboot that. We'll see if we can get a clean reboot off of it. And then 134, let's see if we can get a reboot on that one too. Worst case scenario, we just have to go console into these machines and go forcibly restart them. Hey Kaiju, what's up, dude? Hey, there we go. All right, so 133 looks like it completed. 134 still in its reboot phase. Nice. Oh yeah, not sponsored by Draco, which you can't see because of the green screen yet. I do find it funny that this can is perfect chroma green. Okay, those are both done. Let me go try snapshotting them again real quick. Because if I blow up these servers, it took a long time for it to provision the Dracarys lab. I don't want to sit around and wait for it. So now that everything's up and kind of chill state, I want to get it restarted. Yes. Jocko is the only one I'm willing to take like late at night. It's only got about, I think, 90, maybe 100 milligrams of caffeine. I'm a fast caffeine metabolizer, right? I am an advanced caffeine user. So when I drink this, I can drink this starting about the beginning of the stream. I usually finish it about now, about an hour into the stream. Once I'm done with it, though, I don't really have a problem going to sleep around 11:30 after the stream ends. Sometimes around midnight. Okay. I gotta figure out what this error is here. Damn it, I lost it. Hang on. Okay, so I think we need to shut those two down real quick. Let's do this. Ludus, range, stop, tack in, 133, 134. That's not it. Is it just stop? What's the command here? Or is it power? Oh, it's power. It's not Ludus range. I think it's Ludus power. They just added those commands. I haven't messed with them yet. Let's see. Yeah, Ludus range, power off. Let's see, tack in. Yeah, 133, 134. I'm going to power those two off, and then I'm going to snapshot them. Okay, now we'll go ahead and snapshot those real quick. So they'll be snapshotted in the... Nope, that didn't work. Let me see. Let me try something. Can I snapshot these directly? Convert to template. Let me see. Bring this down. I need a snapshot of this. Otherwise, if I blow it up, snapshots. Here we go. Take snapshot. Clean install. All right, hold on. Oh, I think it's because it's got a TPM in it, maybe. At least that's according to Claude. All right. Well, we just want to not jack it up then. That's fine. This is fine. Everything is fine. Let's just go ahead and power it back on. All right. Start. Start. We'll let these come up real quick. But yep, that is one of the nightly stream rituals, is having a Jocko drink right there at the end. One day, I'm going to send Jocko an entire compilation of just me saying that on stream. And I've got a lot of them. I've been streaming for over 2 years now. And I've done that, I think, 99% of streams. And some days I used to stream 6 days a week. Back in the very beginning, before life decided to just, waylay me with a brick to the head. Okay, those machines are up now. Let's go ahead and get started. Let's go see what we can find here. So, let's exit out of this. Let's make a directory for all of our notes here, Dracarys, and then let's go do an nmap scan. All right, so what do we got? We got... Okay, let me save this output real quick. So we've got MySQL, we've got HTTP, HTTPS, and SSH running up on this box. Cool. I tell you, let's do one more scan real quick. Let's do some more top ports. Top ports 4000. That's one of the ones I like to do. We'll do TAC OA. Let's call this Linux base scan. Okay, not a whole lot came back from that, but that's fine, because now what I'm going to do is I'm going to target those ports. So what do we got? We got 22, we got 80, we got 443, and then we got 3306, and let's do version and script scan. So what we'll do is we'll call this a, let's see, service scan. And then actually, I'm going to do this real quick. Nope, that's not what I wanted to do. CD to Chorus. Move Linux base scan. Let's see, G and map. I'm going to move that to... I'm going to rename these real quick. Let's see, this will be number 1. And if you're wondering why I'm doing this, it's because I want to keep these in a nice order. So we got G and map, nmap, and then we have our XML here. That way I can kind of, it basically makes a little story in here to see what happened, right? So I've got all these. So this is the first scanner in, this is the second one, yada, yada, yada. So what do we got? We got a little bit of output from our SSH. 80, what are we running? Default Ubuntu page. Nothing going back from 443. We got some stuff for MySQL. Let's see, MySQL info. Status auto commit with assault. Interesting. Okay. Hey, Bobby, what's up, dude? The Mac Attack is in the house. Happy Sunday, brother. By the way, you still have time if you have not called your mommies to wish them a happy Mother's Day. Highly suggest you do that. I was glad I was able to go see my mom for a little bit today. And it's funny, too, because like when Agent Zero and Honey Badger get there, they just treat it like home. She loves that. She's like, they just come in and make themselves at home. She loves that they're so familiar with her house. They just come in and instantly are like, ah, this is my space now. All right. Oh, I need to do something real quick. I want the Chromium browser. Let's see. Add to panel, I think. Can I bring this up here? Nope, not what I wanted. I want to save this. That was lame. All right, fine. Just run it. Continue. I don't care. There we go. Let's get rid of this. Bookmarks toolbar. Let's go look at this guy real quick. What is this? This is 10. What's our IP address here? Ten 10.4.10.12. All right, let's go pull this up real quick. 10.4.10.12. Okay. So we got a default Apache install in here. So now we can go do a dir bust against it. Dang it! You know what I don't have? I don't have seclist installed here. Okay, let me get that going real quick. Because I want the secless word list that we can have in here. So we'll let this download real quick. I usually would go grab this directly from GitHub. However, the Git repo is chunky and has a huge number of Delta files, and it takes a long time to download. So, I'm hoping this method will be a little bit faster in here. Okay, that was much faster. No, I think it's user share word list. Is that where seclist goes in? Maybe not. Maybe it's an opt. Let's see. Where does that install to? I gotta find it real quick because I want to go do. It does say it's in user share. Oh, it is in there. I'm an idiot. There we go. Okay. Damn it. Anyway, I know where it's at now. So, we have Fuff in here. Actually, you know what? Something we could do is there is information we could get about this, especially if this MySQL database gives us any kind of info. Let's see what we got. We have capabilities here. So we got two options again. Let's see. Do we have netexec in here? Ah, we do. Let's see. We have MS SQL. This one doesn't do, I don't think, MySQL in here. It does not. Damn. Oh, you know what we didn't check? This also has 443 on it, which it's probably default anyway. But let's go check it real quick. That one didn't work? Didn't we have 443 in here? Hang on, let me change the view of this. List view. There we go. Bring this over. Let me see. Our base nmap scan. We did have 443. Yeah. So why didn't that one work? Oh, I'm in the wrong one. Hang on. Let me close this one. There we go. This one sent an invalid response? Hang on, let me make this a little bit larger for y'all so you can read it. Let's see. I mean, it's running the exact same thing here. So, Blurry GM, thanks for coming online, man. Welcome in. I hope you're having an absolutely spectacular Sunday. So these are both showing up as the same thing, but why is the HTTPS version not showing it? Here, let's do a curl command to it real quick, just as a FYI. Let's see. Do tag k HTTPS 10.4.10.12. SSL routine wrong version number. What? Hadn't seen this before. I mean, I've seen plenty of SSL errors. Oh, peer verification disabled. Is it trying to do peer authentication? Is this CTF? Yeah, dude, we're doing the Dracarys lab. The one that's pinned up there at the top. And it is... Because I thought, hey, I forgot we had it set up. We set it up last weekend, but we were trying to finish up AirTouch until they put AirTouch behind the VIP wall. So... I was like, oh yeah, I forgot about this. Let's go hop in here and go figure out what we can. So, a couple things we could do. Let's see something. It's like a GOAD lab on steroids? Not exactly. You could think of the GOAD lab as this on steroids, but this is more like a challenge lab. It's smaller and it's focused. There's only 3 boxes in it. And the difference I say is GOAD is like damn vulnerable Active Directory, and this is more like a purpose-built challenge Active Directory lab. So right now we're just trying to figure out how to get our initial foothold over on this system. So the only things we've got open are, we have 80, we've got 443, and we have SSH as well. But then we also have MySQL exposed. So I'm thinking here, let's go grab a copy of Le Impacket real quick. Let's clone this down. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and get... Do I want to get the latest version? No, we'll go get the release version. Yeah, I want to do the release version. Let me copy that link. CD to tools, and then let's wget that down. And then we'll untar it. Let's see, XCF. There we go. And then we'll CD over to Impacket. Oh, you know what I want to do? Let's see. My bet is HTTP or MySQL is the foothold. Probably. I wanted to do a little bit of poking at the MySQL part. We have the 2 paths we could go take a look at. The same stuff we did last night on Snapped over on Hack the Box, right? Right now, it's showing like the default page over on Apache. So we could either try and go look for subdirectories or try and find like if it's got virtual hosts in there for subdomains, things like that. Oh wait, you can install that from Impacket? Ooh. Hold on, I gotta try something real quick. Impacket. Oh, I don't have UV installed. Damn it. Should have installed that before I snapshot it. There we go. Now this should actually just get us all the tools we want right here. Nice. MySQL. Does that have hold on. I thought Impacket had a MySQL command. I thought we had MySQL client. Is that not an... Oh, I guess that is an Impact tool. Hang on, I gotta figure out where to go grab that from. We could actually just search for it. There we go. Let's go get that default MySQL client. Let's go get that. All right, let's see. MySQL client. Wait, we don't have that installed? Lame. Hmm. Let's go check it out real quick again. Hang on. So what did we have for MySQL? Are you talking about this command, Blurry? Yeah, that's an alias. Because I get tired of typing sudo apt install tacy. So that's my personal alias to it. So when I type that in, it is replacing it on the command line with sudo apt install tacy. That is just me being lazy. And a lot of times, whenever you go, so this lab range is set up in Ludus, and so when you deploy these machines from a Ludus template, they're very minimal. They don't have a lot of tools installed. So I find myself typing sudo apt install tacy a whole lot. So the first thing I do whenever I go get on this box, like a new system, is I just set up that alias by hand, and that way it just tells me, like, it's just an easy shortcut for me. That's all it is. Let me see. I figure out how to use MySQL client. I hadn't used it in so long. Oh, that's it. Let me see if I can make this work. Let's see. Let's see if it's got a blank password on it. Let's see. Pack H, and then I think it's just the host IP address, 10.4.10.12. Let's see if it's got a default password for it. Let's see. Because it's got a self-signed certificate on here. Okay, so we need SSL mode equals disabled. All right, that didn't work. What about tech SSL? What about if we just did root? Can we get the password here? Lame. If I leave this off, because I haven't used MySQL client forever. Root admin. Root password. Damn it. All right, so at least the default connection over to that MySQL client's not working. How many pen testers are streaming right now? Probably not too many. There's actually a fantastic website if you want to look at that. Let's see. If you go over to infosecstreams.com, a lot of people that are streaming cybersecurity stuff. And it's not just necessarily pen testers, it's people that are learning, people that are working on other projects just centered around cybersecurity. They'll usually be registered on here. And there's usually a lot of folks during the day. This time of night, it's usually just us hanging out. For some reason, ironically, a lot of the cybersecurity streamers don't stream late at night. I was like, that doesn't quite fit with like the hacker stereotype, does it? So yeah, usually this time of night, it's just us. Just us hanging out, having fun. All right, well, let's go try a little bit of fuff action up here. Let's see. FFUF, let's do this. Actually, I need to know what this error is here. Hold on, gotta copy that. Let's see what this error is. Oh, interesting. Interesting. So 443 is up. It's just not... It's not serving TLS. That's wild. Hang on, did that actually show up in our scan here? Oh yeah, see, it didn't say HTTPS. It's like, so it's running on 443, but it's actually running protocol HTTP. See that? That's funny. Yeah, exactly, Potion. I was like, I don't get why there's not more people streaming later at night. I like it. I mean, actually, to be perfectly honest, if I could, I would stream earlier in the day. However, this is about the time the kids go to bed, so I gotta hop in. So for beginners, which one's the best? Try Hack Me or Hack the Box? I used to recommend Try Hack Me because I thought their learning platform was a little bit better. But Try Hack Me's done some shady stuff lately, and so I cannot recommend them anymore. So my default answer is now Hack the Box. But also, actually, there's another one. Oh, what is it? Let me see. Let me see. Tyler Ramsby courses. What's his? Simply Cyber's another one. I think they've got a couple of courses in here. What is his site called? Is it just over on Hack Smarter? Let me see. Catalog. Actually, hold on. He's got Learning Path set up now. So I just would recommend going and checking out Hack Smarter as well. Let's see. Because he's got like an OSCP prep course in here. Guided labs, working through things in here. So here, let me send this real quick. Yeah, Pwn College is another good one. Thank you for reminding me about that, Kaiju, because I forget about that. Yeah. So I would check out Hack Smarter. Hack the Box is also very good. Simply Cyber has some good stuff on it. And yeah, Pwn College. I had to go make a website listing all this stuff out. Make it easy for folks. I really like Tyler Ramsby too. He's a cool guy. He and I talk on occasion, but he's super busy. I try not to bug him too much, but super smart dude. All right, so this is just serving up good old plain. That's a lot to look through. Hold on, let me just get the headers here. I want to try something real quick. Let's throw a header in here. I think it's like this: host, localhost. Oh, I think it's capital H. Hold on. I want to see if it brings me back anything differently in here. Nothing exactly different. Let me see. Let's see, because this is the default. What's this called? I forget. You just look at it. Yeah. Let me see if I gotta check something on default. Okay, let's go do a fuff against this real quick. FFUF. Let's see. 10.4.10.12. Buzz, and then we'll do a word list of let's see, I think it's user, share, word list, sec list, discovery, web content. And what we'll do is we'll do raft medium files lowercase, like this. And I'm going to throw tac AC on there so it can auto adjust whatever errors we get in here. Let's see what files we've got listed in here we might be able to get. Index HTML, that one's expected. To clear OSCP hacks, I guess you're asking, is hack smarter enough? I'm not sure. I took the OSCP a long time ago. So a little bit of backstory. I first took the OSCP back in 2010. I took the course, but I never sat for the exam because I felt I wasn't ready for it. Fast forward to 2018, I started working in cybersecurity. I've been working in IT since 2010. And let's see, 2018, I started working as an actual penetration tester. So it's been like half my career now. And I decided I would go back and go finish the OSCP. So from when I took it in 2010 to when I took it in 2018, there was not much of a difference. Now they have done a massive overhaul and brought in a lot of new stuff on it. So it has changed a ton. So unfortunately, I cannot really comment on the current state of the OSCP. The OSCP is still viewed as the gold standard. I do think the OSCP is probably overpriced. It is expensive to get through it. So if you have any means of getting some kind of like work reimbursement to go through, I think it's very good that way. Getting a CCNA might also be a good idea for a beginner. If not the CCNA, because the CCNA gets kind of deep, at least going through something like Net Plus. Because understanding networking, you can get some of the basics down, but it will always be a handicap if you don't understand the basic flow of packets through a system. CCNA will absolutely help with that. Net Plus will at least get you a solid foundation with it. Understanding what's happening at layer 2, layer 3, TCP and UDP, and then everything happening beyond that, you can pretty much just summarize as layer 7. Nobody really pays attention to layers 5 and 6. So really understanding layers, and in fact, for some part, layer 1 too, because wireless security is technically layer 1 and 2 for the most part. But Net Plus will kind of like really get you a strong foundation in it. How did I enter into pen testing? So I have been breaking computers quite literally since the 2nd grade. And I didn't understand it, and I did it by accident. So starting from the 2nd grade, I've been just tinkering with computers, breaking them, finding weird little bugs in them, and just basically doing internet hood rat stuff. And so back in the days of CompuServe. So I've been doing this a long time. I didn't actually start taking it seriously as a potential career path until about 2009. So 2009, I went and actually took my CCNA. And it was for no other reason than I was sitting in a class at the junior college I was going to, and there was a whole stack of routers and switches on a rack in the back of the class. And I just saw those, and I told my buddies, like, I don't know what those are. I want to play with those. And he goes, okay, man, you gotta take the CCNA class to go do that. Say no more, fam. I go sign up for the CCNA class. And thank God I did, because I actually had a really amazing professor there, and he did a fantastic job. I was super, super fortunate for like who I got. And after I went through that, then I got hired to work in that lab. And then I started bringing in all my, security tendencies, let's call them, into it, and just kept working through it. And then here in Dallas, we're actually very fortunate. We've got a very big like hacker scene. So we've got Dallas Hackers Association, we got DC214, we've got 2600, and that was just like what we had back in the day. And now it's even gone beyond that. It's a huge number of those. And I knew a guy that was looking for a new penetration tester. And so I said, hey man, throw my hat in the ring. And so because he knew me, he knew what circles I ran in, he put my name in there, got hired. I deal with office supplies too. All right, so that did not get us anything that we wanted. Let's see, directories. Let's run directories real quick. Nothing from directories. Sad. Okay, so not a whole lot listed in there. Let me see here. I haven't had to hack on a MySQL server in a while. Is Hacktrick still a thing? Let's go see. It is. Let's see. Go wait. Go wait. Where is the search in here? Search for MySQL. Run Hacktricks locally? Ooh, that's pretty cool. Okay, that wasn't what I wanted. You're killing me, Smalls. Where's the MySQL? There we go. Here we go. Let me see what they've recommended here, because I haven't had to do this in a while. We already tried connecting with that. Didn't work. We did not try root at localhost. Let's go double check that real fast. If we have to use Metasploit, I'm going to be sad. I think I did that down here. Let's see. Root at localhost. Let's see. Access denied. No. Password root. Sad. All right, let's see. Oh, cool. They actually have a full, like... Damn it. Why do you do copy? Copy. Let's see. Let's go see what this comes back with. We'll do 10.4.10.12. So this is going to run a whole bunch of scripts. MySQL audit, databases, dump hashes, MySQL empty, which I'm empty password, enum, MySQL info, variable. So this is just going to run a whole bunch of default scripts over on it. And then, hold on, I want to do one more thing. Tac O A. This will be... crap, we're not in Dracarys. Let me bring this back in here. So, I want to do a couple other things. I know it's going to be online, so I'm going to put a tac pn in here. And then I want to get all the output Linux 03. Call this MySQL scan. And then the IP address 10.4.10.12. Let's go see what this comes back with. A whole lot of stuff. Don't want to read it in the terminal. So, let's come over and look at it here. Kind of the same thing in here. Valid usernames. That's weird. It flagged all of these as valid credentials? No. No. That is probably an error in here. What would you recommend for beginners who want to enter into penetration testing? Are you talking about like for finding a role going into penetration testing? I have to be dead honest with you. Penetration testing is a very competitive field, and it is not going unscathed in a lot of the AI upheaval with everything. So the first area I usually recommend people start working on doing website assessments, like learning how to do web penetration testing. So another good area to start with is, hang on, the ads are about to come up. Let me snooze them real quick. So another area I recommend is going and checking out the Burp Suite Academy, because it's also free. It will get you started down the web route. So if I had to make a solid recommendation, it would be start with something like the Net Plus, so you understand the networking. Then maybe take like a Linux admin course, a very basic one. And then the same thing like a Windows admin course. Something so you're very familiar with just getting below the surface into the guts of the machine. Then for the actual first bit of security, start with something like the Burp Suite Academy. It's free, and pretty much everything has a website to it now. there's a lot of need for people who can go through and do website security assessments, looking at them. So that is a fantastic place to start. And then after that, I would then start working down kind of like that OSCP route. And then as far as landing your first job, the best way is in networking, getting to know folks, building up like a network of folks that have seen what you're working on and that are interested in like what you're doing. Yes, technically it is the Port Swigger Academy. I keep calling it the Burp Suite Academy, but yeah, technically it's the Port Swigger Academy. That's the company that owns Burp Suite. I don't recommend try Hack Me anymore, but I have a 193 day streak on there. Damn, dude. That's a 6-month streak. That's pretty solid. Let's see. Let me go try something in here. This said root with an empty password worked on here. Blocked because of too many connection errors. No. Will that time out? That's funny. We'll have to wait for this to flush out of there. Let me look at something real quick. For this MySQL enum, I'm trying to see what the false positive rate is for valid usernames. Okay, so these are often reported. Yeah, so there's an error with this MySQL enum script because it's targeting older versions of MySQL. This one is... Did YouTube just die? There we go. No, it's back. Okay. That was weird. YouTube cut out for just a second. So yeah, this is another important thing I'm always telling you. You got to test your tools. You got to know where their faults are because these are not robust tools a lot of time. A lot of times they will give you fake information. So here it's saying like, oh yeah, root with an empty password is valid. We know it's not valid. We've already tried that. But however, a lot of times these usernames might actually be valid in here. So we could either try and go through and brute force some of these, try a bunch of different passwords with it. Unfortunately, oh, that's rough. So either we need to cycle our IP address. Oh, damn it. We could always just change our IP address in here too. Hey, Talisman. You got to know your history too. Hacking significantly predates the internet, back in the days of wooden computers and iron programmers. It actually does, right? Because those were the original term came from a group of MIT students that were, as they coined the term, hacking together a train signaling system for like a small model train. They got a whole bunch of parts, but I don't think they were part of a set, if I remember correctly. So they hacked it together to make it work and make their own signaling system in there. And that's where the term originally came from, in there. So really, hacking is not an activity, it's a frame of mind of coming up with creative problem solving to situations. In the terms of modern cybersecurity, usually you think of it as unauthorized system administration. I'm going through and I'm changing the spark plugs in the engine through the tailpipe rather than going from under the hood. Let's see. So if we cannot flush this, what else could we do with this? Yeah. Dude, you know, Talisman, I was really sad because when I first learned about phone phreaking, I was in this weird age growing up where phone phreaking was largely a solved problem at the telcos, and computing was like over the internet was just taking off. But phone phreaking was always like my first thing that really caught my attention, and I really wanted.
23, see what's up.
That's right. We're gonna echo 23. I really wanted to like test it out and learn, and so I learned a bunch about it and how the old telecoms worked. But all those things were like already fixed. Things like red boxes and blue boxes and all the other rainbow boxes in there. They still hold a special nostalgia berry spot in my head. All right. Let me see if I can do something in here. I do creative problem creation. Ken, I bet you do. I bet you do. Unfortunately, that link didn't quite work. Hang on. I don't know why that link... Hang on. Let me copy it directly. Oh god, that site is atrocious. Hang on. Let me try something real quick. I want to bring this up, but I don't want to, like, flashbang everyone with it. Hang on. Let me see how this looks in Dark Reader. It's a little bit more manageable, but... Back in the days of wooden computers and iron programmers, Professor Norman Sondak. Oh, that's funny. Dude, I remember back in the day, 2600 was the only place I could kind of read about this stuff and learn about it. Because this, yeah, I think when I was trolling the internet for this stuff, this predated like Google and a lot of the good search engines, right? So 2600 was the only way I could go learn about this kind of stuff. So yeah, I very much remember going to the Barnes and Noble and buying a copy of 2600 to sit down and read it. And you're right, it is really more of a vocation these days. And that's kind of the way I looked at it for a long time, right? I wasn't doing a whole lot. And then when I started streaming, I got my love of tinkering back. And that's when I started actually going through and like messing with stuff again and just tinkering for the fun of tinkering and not worrying about, hey, could I publish this? Could I do this? Could I do that? I always hated that part of it. And then invariably by tinkering, I find fun stuff to go publish. $2,600 was Instagram for payphones. It was. Let's see here. So I think we're going to be blocked on the MySQL server, unfortunately. Let me try one more time. Damn you. All right, hold on. So I don't know if we're using... What is our... So our ETH0 is in here. I need to go change my IP address. I want to go change it to .119 in here. Why is it always MySQL when it's being bad? No, right? Oh, man. Am I going to have to do this on here? Let me see something real quick. So I want to go change the IP address in here. Let's see, network interfaces. Doesn't look like that's where it's at. So there's nothing in interfaces D. Maybe it's in if up. Let's see. Let me check this one. Nope, that's not it either. Damn it, I need to change the IP address. Either that or just go over to the box and manually flush it. I'm bummed to hear that, Austin. I hope you're doing all right, man. I mean, granted, coming in with news like that, that's potentially rough. Hey, Carson. What's up, man? All right. How can I change my IP address in here? Yeah, that should have been the correct interface right there. Etsy network interfaces. Oh, Austin, I'm really sad to hear that, man. Dude, if as much as I hate to say it, if anybody understands that, I'm right there with you, man. After the last couple of years I've had, it's gotten so bad. Poor Agent Zero. Anytime somebody's in the hospital now, he asks if they're going to die. Like, I was like, ugh. And he's 7. I was like, bro, what kind of 7-year-old asks that every time someone just goes to the hospital? Let me go try something real quick here. They had a heart attack at the age of 32. Bro, that is wild. There was a amongst that whole litany of folks that passed away during those last 2 years. One of them was a buddy from my church, and I want to say he was 38, maybe 36. He was in his late 30s, but yeah, he had a massive heart attack. And it was completely unexpected. I mean, it was there, like the kind where you almost pass away instantly from it. It was wild. Oh, I'm sorry to hear about that, man. What is the... I need to get into the router, because I think this is being assigned a DHCP address from the router. I mean, that's completely understandable, Austin. Especially at 32. That's such a young age. I'm 42, right? And I still feel like even that's young for something like that. Well, where is administration? Admin notes? No, that's not it. I need... That's environment, guys. Deployment options. I need networking. Let's see. I need the router login here. Ah, dang it. What is that? Because we can go into the router and we could go find it. 10.4.10.54. SSH is open. PPP is also open. That doesn't make sense. Y'all been friends for 16 years? Ugh. Dude. Ugh. Yeah, one of my... I completely understand that, man, because you talk about unexpected passings. I've been there, man. And there's nothing to really do except... if you're the praying type like I am, just pray. Because... that's really all you can do. You can't change anything about it. What's the login? What are we working on? So we're working on a lab called Dracarys. It's from the one of the variants of the game of Active Directory lab. However, I got blocked from MySQL for too many failed connections. So I'm trying to change my IP address. All right, there we go. Found it. It's admin and password. Let me see. DHCP settings. Doesn't have it in here. Dang it. All right, I think the easiest way forward is I'll just go log into the box and we'll go flush the DNS in here. Hang on, I gotta find the login here. In theory, we could log with Vagrant in here. Let's see. Vagrant, V-A-G-R-A-N-T. All right, that's not working, unfortunately. I think I can just SSH over to the system, though. 10.4, 10.12. Did I spell vagrant right? Hang on. All right, we can always take a nuclear option here too. God, I hate this. All because I'm not sure how Linux is... I'm not sure how Ludus is assigning the IP address to Kali. So, we can just reboot the box. We'll cheat. Dude, Austin, so I had someone once describe grief to me as a glitter bomb, right? And after they explained it, it made perfect sense. At the surface, I'm like, that's stupid. But no. So imagine someone has sent you a glitter bomb, right? It just blows up, and you've got glitter all over the place. And at first, it's really overwhelming, right? And then over time, you clean, you start picking it up, and as you clean, eventually you find more places you missed. Like you find little pockets that seem like, how did it possibly get there? And then you keep going, and no matter how much you clean, there's always that little bit of glitter left, like on any surface, right? It's impossible to get rid of. And over time, it wears out, it gets thinner, but it's never really gone. There's always that little bit of glitter always stuck where that happened. And that's exactly how it is. Yeah, it's impossible to get rid of glitter. So after I thought about it, I was like, that is the perfect analogy to explain how grief works. And especially with I hate to say it, but I've had way more chance to deal with that than just about anybody else I know. Thankfully, I'm actually glad about that. Okay, cool. So that finally cleared up. Box came back up. We can actually get back to hacking on it. Had to reboot it. I feel bad about that. Are we really going to use Metasploit? Yeah, I guess we are. Hang on one sec. Actually, you know what I just realized? Crap, Peaches is still outside. I gotta go let her in. Hang on, I'll be right back. All right, I'm back. I'm back. And I wasn't pooping. No. I thought Peaches was still outside. Sock had actually let her in. However, then she decided to go follow Sock around because Sock was doing stuff in the kitchen, and she was afraid that Sock might drop something, and she'd miss the chance to eat it. Oh, wait, didn't turn the camera on. Whoop, there we go. Oh. Dude, Austin, it doesn't even have to be anything like that extreme, right? It's gonna, especially when it's like someone that close, someone that you were that close to, it's going to just come out of nowhere. It really is just like someone's just waiting around the corner with like a squirt gun and ready to just spray you out of nowhere. It's not going to hurt you, but it's going to just come out of nowhere, and there's not a whole lot you can do about it. It's just like an ambush artist waiting for you. Let me check this one out real quick. Let's see, this impacts a bunch of old MySQL, which I don't think matches the version we're using. Yeah, because this is using version 8. This was this affected versions 5. So yeah, that's not going to work. Oh, so Cankles, we're working on the Dracarys lab. Check the pinned message. It's a really fun one. It's from the guys Mayfly who made Game of Active Directory, and this is like a challenge version of Game of Active Directory. Let's see. So that one's not going to work in here. Search for MySQL. There's a whole bunch in here. I think for search, yeah, let's do search MySQL type auxiliary. Here we go. So all these are pretty old. This is a pretty recent version of MySQL, so we could try doing MySQL login and potentially like try and get it to brute force a password for us. Let me do something real quick. I gotta try something real quick. I want to just make sure I'm not missing anything. So let's go do a full port scan real quick. Okay, so we did miss something initially. See that? There's an additional MySQL X running in here. So we scanned all ports, got everything back. And Potion, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Like, it's stuff that's out of nowhere that all of a sudden will trigger a memory of a memory, and bam, it just hits you. Like stuff that you wouldn't think would, and there's no seeming rhyme or reason to it, and it just comes over you. Let me run this again. What was this? 33060. I'm going to run this again here. And let me see how that redid this in here. Yeah, let's change this. 33060. Let me rerun this one here. And then while that's running, let me close this. Yeah, reload. All right, so what came up in... So 3306, we still have all that same stuff. What is MySQL X? I hadn't seen that before. Austin, that's completely understandable, man. Dude, I mean, that's a rough go of things. Let me see if this will work. Because I haven't actually come across MySQL X. Let's see. MySQL SH? Do we even have that? Let's see. We don't have that. So this MySQL SH command. Let's see. I gotta figure out how to install that. MySQL SH. Let's see, MySQL shell. Is that an option? It is not. Oh, was that y'all shared hobby? You'd go do photography together? At least if I can get a copy of this real quick. Not found. Damn it. Oh, it's so bright. Pretty sure I already tried that. Yeah, MySQL shell. We don't have that in the default repositories. Let's try Debian Linux. What versions do we have? We've got a deb package that works for Debian. Maybe that will work. So I want to see if I can test this guy out real quick here. Copy link address. Let's see. There we go. So once I've got that, then let's see. D package, install, what is this? MySQL shell. My opinion on flock cameras, they are atrocious. Cannot stand them. And all I want to do is go tell the meth heads down the street how many precious metals are in flock cameras. Let's see. All right, there we go. So that's working now. Now let's go see if we can get this to work. Let's see, this would be 10.4.10.12. Let's see if we can connect over to it. There we go. All right, there we go. I think. What is going on? Anybody over on YouTube see what's happening? Is it working now? I'm not sure what's going on the YouTube side. It is getting funky. Hang on one sec, yo. Oh, let me jump in off segment. Let me go check that real quick. Oh, it is choppy as hell. Not sure what's happening with it. Let me try something real quick here. All right, there we go. Now it's functioning. All right, cool. Not sure what's happening on the YouTube side. Yeah, now it's running. Okay. It was running at like 3 frames a second. It was weird. Password. No password. So I don't think MySQL shell is going to get us very far in here. I have no idea what's going on the YouTube side. I apologize, everyone over there. Write binary data. That's our MySQL commands. All right, so we didn't find anything whenever we did buff in here. There's one other thing we can do. Rather than trying the medium, we can try the large in here. Let's try directories lowercase. So let's try the large list in here real fast. Let's see what happens. Well, so far it looks like Twitch and Kick are running just fine. It's just YouTube is having some like intermittent issues. For YouTube. Let's see. Alright, nothing came back for directories. Let's try files again. If we can also find a way to... I hate to think that this was like an SSH brute force. Or a MySQL brute force. YouTube's like, this is fine. I know, right? As it burns down around it. Yeah, this is fine, but it's really a dumpster fire, right? Let's see here. Let's go take a look at what we've got so far from this system. So we're able to determine some capabilities. Those are common client server features, so nothing unusual there. So we don't have a ton on this system listening, right? Let's go back over to here. So this is completely untrustworthy data, and we didn't get a ton whenever we did this other one in here. So it's using SHA-2 passwords. Yeah, so we don't have a whole lot to get started with on this. Actually, hold on. Didn't we run another FUF scan? Yeah, all it found was index. Which if we, just for the sake of completeness, if we load this up, it should just be this exact same page, index.html. Let me try something real quick. What if I just do like PHP info? Yeah, nothing found there. So this is completely blank in here. So we know what all the open ports are. Right, open ports are real simple. 2280.443. But one of the things that did come back from the MySQL scan is we have a bunch of these kind of like users that exist in there. Which version of SSH were we running on this? 96P1? That looks like that is a very updated version of SSH. Not sure. How old is this version of Apache? So nothing really known about that version there. What we need is some way. Oh, here we go. That's what I've been looking for this whole time. Cyrax.dracarys.lab. Boom. Okay. Hang on. We need to go edit our Etsy resolve real quick. Let's see. I was looking for that this whole time. I didn't know where I was going to see it. Etsy hosts. Nope. Let's come down here. Open this up. Drop this guy right here. This will be 10 for 10, 12. All right. So now let's go see if we can get anything different with that. Let's see. HTTP. Oh, did I do that backwards? Sure did. I am super hack source. That's what I am. Super elite hack source. Damn you. Okay. That's fine, because now what we can do is we could actually come through and we can use fuff to come through and we can mess with this. So yeah, that's the URL we want to hit. We want to add a new header in here. We'll add a host header. We'll call this fuzz dot. Shut up, baby. I don't know it. Dracarys.lab, and then we're going to change this. Let's see, discovery. DNS. Yeah, there we go. So DNS. And then what do we want to use here?
Hello, IT. Have you tried turning it off and on again?
We did actually have to turn it off and on again earlier. Let's try that. So what we're doing is we're doing a virtual host subenumeration right now. Let this run for just a second here. It's moving through it at a pretty fast clip. It's already about 50% done. And so what it's doing is it's looking to see, like, do we have any virtual hosts configured on this system? Open up Chromium Ubuntu. That's right. It's running, so it's got legs. That's right. It's got very fast legs. Fuff is really fast. If you didn't know what it is, it stands for Fuzz Faster You Fool. I want to take something out here real quick. I want to just try something. That came back as a 200? No. No. Let me try something right here. I'm going to just put in... Ooh. Let me try something here. Is it just doing like... Oh, it's just doing like blanket name catching on there. Damn it. Damn it all. Okay. Let me try this real quick. Will this make any kind of a difference if we try checking the actual host name? I don't think it's going to. I thought you were talking about like pho, like the soup. Yeah. Yeah, it says it like up here. Does it? Maybe it doesn't. Let me see. Tag B, maybe? It doesn't. But yeah, it's... Yeah, but it basically stands for like Fuzz Faster You Fool. That's what it is. Okay, so we know what the host name is for that machine now. Let me double check something in the Dracarys lab real quick. Hold on, where did I have that up? I had it up over here. So lab starts a Linux machine with a 12 IP, which serves as the starting point for reconnaissance and exploitation. It's fully integrated into the domain, allowing us, as you'll see, during the exploitation process, several techniques and tools will need to be used. Okay. Yeah, and then this is just like how to actually go through and configure it. He hasn't got a walkthrough of it yet, which is fine. I mean, he just released it. This was only a couple months ago. That was somewhat like pho, like the soup. No, foof. 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 Let me think about this. So, nothing for files and directories on 80. 443 is really just running an HTTP version of the site on a different port. Because here's what we know about this machine, right? I lost it. Hold on, let me blow this up to full screen here. So 80 and 443, they're not showing anything other than, hey, default, it works. I don't think I'm actually supposed to be able to reach the other ones. Let me see something. PN, I want to check one of the other ones real quick. Just as a... Like, I don't think we're supposed to be able to reach that. It should be restricted. Like, we shouldn't see anything up on .11. No, we can reach the stuff on .11. So the question is, should we stick to the Linux host? He said it's the starting point. So I assumed we were supposed to compromise the Linux host and then move over to server and then move over to the DC. That's the way I would have thought this was going to work. Yeah, Potion, if you get that proof of concept done, we'll definitely take a look at it. I mean, I won't be able to run it, but I could always look at it. Just because I won't have the stuff available to go set up to actually execute it. Let me try something else real quick. Let's do some targeted ports here. 135, 139. Let's see, 445, 3389, 5985, and 5986. And let's just do a version scan on those real quick. Yeah, that's totally cool, man. We can take a look at the Python script. Bingo. And the reason why I'm looking at this machine is because it's kind of weird we can reach this server, but you can actually do relaying from a Windows machine over to MySQL, especially if it's accepting. Hold on. You cheese? Yes, all about the cheese. All right, let's see what we've got up here. So here's the machine name for this, Vagar. So we can reach it on 3389. Doesn't look like 445 is responding with very much. Let's do a netexec on it real quick. Netexec SMB to 10.4, 10.11. SMB signing is false on that. You know, we didn't check any we didn't check any UDP ports on this box. Let's do SU. I don't want to do TAC P TAC. We'll just try that. 10.4, 10, 12. Let's see if we have any UDP ports open on this Linux box. I'm wondering if we... There's a server 2025. We may... No, dang it. Without any kind of credentials, we're not going to be able to do something like a Petit Patam. Get the mild cheddar. Oh, that looks pretty cool, Potion. Yeah, man, I look forward to seeing it. Because you said there's not, a publicly available POC for that. I mean, now it doesn't sound like it's really. So there's a difference between like an exploit and a vulnerability, right? So a lot of times vulnerabilities are built-in functionality to a system. Yeah. So then there's a difference between like having a tool that automates a vulnerability and a tool that actually kind of like exploits something. Typically a vulnerability is what enables an exploit. So being like the first one to go through and automate it though is pretty cool. Oh god, this is taking so long. UDP scans take forever. Eight minutes remaining? Oh, that's terrible. I have no idea, Potion, because that sounds like... I'll have to do some more reading on the actual technique. So if you've got information on, like, how the technique is supposed to play out and you want to drop your proof of concept stuff over in the news list, then I'll go look at it on the Wednesday night stream. Because I'd be curious to know how it's working. Because there's a reason why I've been telling people don't use SMS two-factor for a long time. Alright, this is going to take too long. I don't want to do this. Hold on. Let's do TAC P. Do 20 through 100. Just do those ones. Actually, no, that won't work. Do 100 to 1,000. Maybe that'll work a little bit faster. Even 1,000 is too high. Hang on. Let's drop that down to like 800. Just that should cover most of the kind of popular UDP ranges in here. Yeah, it surprises me that SIM swapping is still such a thing. Because this S&B signing is false in here, I'm wondering if there's something we can do with this. I didn't think this was going to be a relaying one. I mean, not kind of how I was expecting it. What I was kind of expecting is there would be something to get an initial foothold on the Linux box. And then after moving from the Linux box, then you could go through and you could put, because that Linux box is integrated in Active Directory, there's credential material. I got to remember what it is. But basically on that system to pull it off, and then you could use that to get basic authentication over to the domain. That's kind of how I was expecting this to play out, but I might be wrong here. Oh god, UDP is so slow. I tell you, I'm just gonna check 161 and 162. It's gonna check those two ports. All right, so no SNMP, unfortunately. Let me check directories one more time with the large list. See if it makes any difference. Nope, nothing in there. Damn. That raft list is usually really good if there's something to be found in there. What else could we do with this? I mean, we could go try. It doesn't hurt to actually go ahead and just try like an SSH brute force in here. Let's see. Where's the one I'm looking for? SSH login. There we go. Use 17. Info. So we have two options. We could either try doing an SSH brute force, or we could try doing a MySQL brute force in there. Let's see. Really, we just have root at localhost in there. Which way do I want to go with this? I'm trying to think which way I want to go with this. SSH brute force seems like a really lame way to do it. I'm a little hesitant to do the MySQL brute force just because we got blocked by it earlier because it said, hey, you had too many failed logins. Well, we can reach .11. We can also reach .12. This will suck if this works. I'm not throwing any kind of shade at Mayfly. It's just not what I expected. But let's check this for like null sessions. I think it's TAC U, TAC P. Like that. I forgot what the actual... Actually, is it uppercase U? I didn't think it was. Oh wait, this might be a little bit different. I think netexec actually expects this right here. Hold on. All right, access denied. So no null session in there. So without some kind of authentication, we can't really reliably trigger a relay off this system. So we've got some WASM in here. We know what the host name is. Interesting that 445 is not reporting anything. Let me try something else real quick. All right, hold on. This is, I don't know, suboptimal, but since we are network adjacent, we can probably reach 10.4.10.10 as well. So there might be something over on the domain controller. We haven't looked at it yet. So let's go just do a quick scan of the domain controller real quick. Actually, tell you what, hold on. Before I do all ports, let's just do a regular scan of it real quick. That should be the domain controller. Yeah, we have a whole lot up there. All right, so now I'm going to do this, but I'm going to save this. So let's do OA, do DC, and then this will be, let's see, base scan. Let's go grab that real fast. I should have T5'd it. I T5'd it. Oh well. Because if we can reach that, we maybe can do an anonymous LDAP binding. If we can do an anonymous LDAP binding, then we can pull out a lot of stuff from Active Directory and then maybe see where we want to go with it. Although Mayfly specifically said you're supposed to start on the Linux machine. Hello, Peaches. Do you need to go outside? You're such a turd. You just came in. Oh my gosh. Hang on one sec, guys. Be right back. I gotta let Peaches out. All right, I'm back. Let's look here. All right. Cool. We got a lot of stuff back. These 4,000s are usually just kind of junk anyway. So let's go do something real quick here. Let's. Oh, dang it. I'm in tools. Move that over to Dracars. And then let's CD over to Dracars. There we go. Let me go pull that up real quick. All right, I'm going to grab all of these two here. Put this right here. Let's do this. Clear all this out. Nope. I'm just going to brute force this real quick. And we're just going to scan these ones right here. Nope, not like that. There we go. All right, go scan all those ports now. So we'll put those in there. Go ahead and do VC. This will be number 2. This will be our service scan of that. So we'll see what happens. Let this run really fast here. Yeah, Blurry, the only reason I was going to be using Metasploit in here, I saw your message, I meant to respond to it earlier, is because it's kind of helpful for doing some stuff on MySQL. It's got a couple of modules in there for helping automate some enumeration, some brute forcing. But knowing Mayfly, I don't feel like he put brute forcing into this. Let me exit out of here. Clear that. Let's see. Let's see. Net exec SMB 10.4.10.10. Let me check something real quick. Let's try this one again. Well, this one, oh, the domain controller. Oh, the domain controller allows null sessions. Hey. All right, what about LDAP in here? So it does allow null authentication over to that. Interesting. Okay, so we've got null sessions. Let's go see what the service scan brought back to us. All right, so we have simple DNS. We might be able to do a zone transfer. That would give us a little bit of situational awareness. Probably nothing outstanding for this just because we already know what's going on with it. Let's see. We got LDAP SSL. I actually never messed with .NET message framing. I have to go look at that. It sounds familiar. I think I've messed with it before. So we know the host name, but that's not anything super fantastical. So what we've got is we have null sessions over on the domain controller. Let me see if I can connect over to this. Let's see. Is it TAC P? I think RPC client does like the same thing. I don't remember the syntax here. 10 for let's see, 10. What's the syntax for SMB client? Hold on. Let me double check that real quick. Oh, I'm missing the TAC N in here. We could also actually try SMB client. Actually, yes, let's do SMB client. Which one is this? Damn it. Hold on, I want to check something real quick. Because there is already... Well, that's not what I wanted. All right. Anyway, we can connect with SMB client.pad over to this. Let's see. And that's the one I like better. So the target is 10, 4, 10, 10. I think it's tack in for this. Nope, that's not it. Let's see. Oh, there it is. So it is... No, this one uses... I'm getting my syntaxes confused with RPC client and SMB client. Let's see. Which one do I need here? Because typically what it's expecting is domain user password at target. Let me just try it. 10.4, 10.10. I think it's shares. What's the command here? All right, so it didn't like that. Let me try something here. So we'll do... What is the syntax it wants? I'm trying to remember. It's like user password. Ah, here we go. So we need to give it domain, which in this case is like Dracarys Lab. User and password we want to be blank. So what was our domain in this? Hang on, let's go find that. Gotta remember. Dracarys.lab. So I'm gonna try this. Let's see. So we'll drop this in here, and then what was this? /. So /, and then another empty string, and then @. Will that give us a null session? Damn it. Where is that? I gotta remember how to do this. Because what we're doing is, it looks like it allows no... Did I get the syntax, like, completely wrong? Okay, hang on. Always fighting with the syntax. Let's see. I don't think this is correct. I think... I checked it in Grok real quick. It has lied to me. Let's see. No pass. 10.4.10.10. Yeah, that's not... That is... Grok, you failed me. You have failed hard. Alright, let's do it with the SMB client then. Or RPC client. So we don't need this. I think we do tac in and the DCP IP. Let's see. Here we go. Now we're connected. But I haven't not used SMP client in forever. Hold on. Or this is RPC client. I know there's a way to do this with SMP client. That's the way I'd prefer to do it. Actually, isn't there an enum option in here? Windows registry enum, service enumeration, DFS, netshare enum. Let's try that. Let me copy that real quick, if I can. Let's go see if we can find all the shares that are happening here. Access denied. RIP. Actually, yeah, there we go. Enum Dom users. Okay. Access denied. You suck. Everybody's saying that this should work with SMB client. SMB client.py. And it should be the target IP address 10.4.10.10. Man, I knew I shouldn't have used the UV version of this. Which version is this? That's what I'm trying to figure out. SB Client Pi looks to be the correct one. This is the impact version of 13. Let's see. All right, let me try this again. So if we throw in a no pass, and the reason why, if you're wondering, like, how does this dude not know how to do null sessions? Because you never see null sessions on a real pen test. It's like one of the first things that gets checked for. So I'm constantly having to go back and double check it real quick. Hey, 75K. Thanks for coming online, man. Happy Sunday. Damn it, it's 11 o'clock too. I need to wrap up for tonight. All right, I gotta try one more. I know this is not going to work here. Name or service not known. I tell you what, hold on. Let's do something real quick. Let's go. Let's get some DNS action happening here. Opens. This will be 10 for because a lot of times Windows systems like to work with DNS names. There are times actually you want to not use a DNS name. Let me see. Let me get rid of that one. And what was crap? What was 11? I don't remember. Hang on. We can grab number 10 out of here, though. Copy that. I think the other one was... I think it was Vagar? Vagar, like that. Who were the dragons? Hold on. Dracarys. Because I think we'll talk about the dragons' names in here. Nope, that wasn't them. Hack the earth. That's right, middle. Hack the whole earth. Well, for now, until we become a spacefaring, civilization, then it will be hack the individual planets. What was this? Hang on. Before I commit this, I want to go double check something real quick. 10, 4, 10, 11. Oh, I forgot to tell it what to do. SB. So I'm pretty sure this was Vagar. Yeah, but I spelled it wrong. Vagar. All right, hang on. Vagar. There we go. So now we're going to have these guys in here. Hold on, let me cat that real quick. So I want to get that host name in here. All right, I'm going to try it with the actual DNS name. Copy. Actually, there's one other thing we can do here. If we want to make this easy, Etsy resolve.com. We can add a new name server to this. Hang on, I'm trying to remember if I can do this in here. I think in the resolve.conf you can say, hey, certain domains resolve to a certain one. Nope, they don't. All right, that's okay. Here's what we're going to do. We're just going to add a new name server in here. So name server 10.4.10.10. There we go. So now what that's going to do is if we do something like a dig for this guy, well, let me double check that. 10.4.10.10. Yeah, so that did resolve. Okay, perfect. Boom. Let's see. Let's just check something real quick. Can we do a zone transfer? Yeah. Let's see. It's a AXFR. AXFR, and this would be dracarys.lab. And then we're going to do at 10.4.10.10. Transfer failed. Lame. Okay, so can't do his own transfer. The only thing that would probably give us is just those three DNS entries anyway. It would give us the one for the Linux box, the server, and the DC. But error connecting. Damn you. NetExec did tell us that this worked, though. Unfortunately, the null session didn't seem to work on LDAP. What users do we have in here? Nothing. What about shares? Will that tell us anything? Crap. So it looks like the null session isn't actually working. Arc moved to LDAP protocol. And I don't think LDAP actually liked the null session. Let's see, what was it? I think it was groups. Yeah. All right, I want to try one more thing. We do have responder in here. ETH0, I'm going to put it in analyze mode. I want to see if we see any traffic coming through here. I doubt we're going to. Well, actually, we're seeing some traffic come through here. Let's see. We're seeing some LLMNRs for Cyrax. Okay. So we potentially could go poison something with responder through here. Yeah. Let's see, that's the problem. So we don't have a null bind on LDAP. And even though it says we've got... It says it's working in here, right? But it doesn't look like it's actually working. So we're getting a request for Cyrax from 10.4.10.11. So we could potentially go set up NTLM Relay X. Let me make a note of that real quick, because unfortunately we do have to see about wrapping up here. Let me see. All right. Let's see. Maybe a null session on DC. And we see LLMNR responder traffic from server. And it was asking about Cyrax. Yeah. So it's looking for Cyrax, which Cyrax should have been Cyrax was the Linux server in here. So for some reason, number 11 is looking for Cyrax from the LLMNR. I want to do one more thing in here. Hold on. All right, I'm going to try something here. We're going to try to force it to use a landman hash. I doubt this is going to work. That's fine. We don't need it listening on port 80 anyway. Hold on. I want to see what happens with this. Come on. We saw the traffic. Come on. You can do it. So it's poisoning responses in here. We're seeing some what is it? IPv6 traffic in here. So maybe Minim 6 would also be an option. Come on. Damn. Because if this worked, what we do is we'd capture an NTLM v1 hash, and those are actually really easy to crack. Unfortunately, we don't see anything coming back with this. Hold on, I'm going to take these options out. And just have it start responding. Because maybe we can still get, maybe it's disabled NTLM v1, but we could still get an NTLM v2 hash. If that's working, then we could probably come through and do a relay without having to crack the actual hash on it. We'll give it a second here, because it looks like it fires maybe every minute or two. Well, no, while that's running, let's see. Did we ever nmap the .11 host? We did. Okay. I want to save this output real quick, so we'll have to look at. So this would be server 1 base scan. Let's go save that real quick. Come on, run already. It should go hopefully pretty quick in here. Yeah, it's not running, it's walking. That's right, Austin. Damn it. I'm out of water and out of Jocko. Sad. I'm really sad this is not running. I was hoping to try and catch it. If we could see an NTLM v2 hash come through here, then we know that next time we could potentially do a relay attack. I should have buffed up these machines, too. Hang on. In fact, I'm going to do that real quick. Let's see. Where's hardware? Hardware, memory, edit. Change you from 4196 to, what is that? Let's see, 180 plus 12, 4192. No, 8192. You're going to get extra RAM. and you're going to get 2 more processors. There we go. So save that one, and then I'm going to do the same thing over on server. I'm going to buff up its hardware because that is just not enough for a Windows box. 4 gigs barely runs it. There we go. So now when I reboot those systems, they'll get their fresh hardware profile. They'll run a little bit more responsively. Okay. Actually, hold on. Let's just do this. Change this. SVC. And then what ports do we have here? We have 135, 139, 445, 3389, 5985, 59. I think I did this already, and it was my own stupid fault for not saving it. Yeah, we'll save this. And this will be server number 2 service scan. Oh, should be like that. There we go. Let that run. Damn you, responder. I doubt restarting is going to change anything, but I want to try it one more time. Just to see if I can see another poisoned response happening in here. Now, there's also a chance that that machine, depending on what he's got running on it, if it's running Defender, then Defender actually has defenses against Responder. In fact, while that's running, let's go take a look real quick. What did we see up here the first time we ran it in Analyze mode? Alright, so we didn't see anything wild in here. So if this thing was using Defender, which I don't remember if you can do it in the free version, but what it will do is it will actually come through and it will make these like multicast DNS resolutions for some fake name, usually. Unless he specifically set it up for Cyrax to do it, like as a red herring. But typically what you'd see is it would come through for like some kind of weird, fake, random name. And if it got a response from that, a name that shouldn't exist on the network, then it knows somebody's running Responder and is making those poison requests, and it would instantly flag on you. But it doesn't give the appearance that that's what's happening. Let me check something in Responder real quick. Is there something I'm missing in here? I didn't think I saw anything for WPAD, so I'm not sure if proxy auth would work in here. Same thing for DHCP. Let's see, did this one finish? Okay, it did. Excellent. So then we'll have the notes for next time in here. Let's see. So this didn't work on .11. Yeah, we got a straight up access denied. But for some reason on 10, it was working. No authentication true. It does require signing. So we can't relay to the domain controller since it requires signing. However, this one does not require signing. So we could relay to the server, which is what I was hoping for. I was hoping that we'd get something into the MySQL server Once we got into the MySQL server, we could then tell it to, hey, go talk to this, basically hoping that MySQL was actually connected and allowing like something like domain authentication. And then we could relay from the MySQL server through us out to the server. And then we'd have an authenticated session. Damn it. I was hoping to find something else. Let me take a look here real quick. We've already been through that. Let me look at the service scan again real quick. Is there anything I'm missing? 80 and 443 are up, but they're just running like default web pages. We're not seeing anything happening in them. Even using like subdomain enumeration, dir busting, file busting. It's got to be something in that MySQL server. Yeah, I like this one because this is I don't get to do this kind of like penetration testing with this before. Typically, the stuff I'm doing is more pivoting through the network. Initial foothold is just something I don't have to deal with very much. So this is all we've got to work with right here. So 80 and 443 are both running HTTP. MySQL is sitting over here just like sitting pretty. Oh, we're talking about the song? Which one is this? Space Lasers, that's what this one is. All right, I want to try one more thing. It's the only thing that kind of makes sense. Let's see. Let me see. Can Hydra... Let me see. I don't remember check MySQL passwords. I don't remember if Hydra supports MySQL or not. It does. Ever had to do this professionally? Oh, yeah. This is a bit more of what I did at my last company, but even then it was a little bit more sparse. Oh, wait, what am I doing? I want to come back over here. In theory... where was this? MySQL scan. We could take this list of users here and start building out a user list from this. Let's see. Let's take this stuff out. Take that out. Let's see. I don't necessarily want to go like a full list of users, but let's call this will be our potential MySQL users. Let's start with root in here. And let's go try doing a little bit of Hydra action on it. So Hydra. And then let's see. I think it's just Tech L. I don't know. Hold on. I haven't used Hydra in so long. And typically, every time I did a penetration test, brute forcing was not something I needed to do. And often something I shied away from. Okay, so Tac L. Let's try root, and then we're going to put a password list in here. Word list, let's see. Hang on. Let me CD to user share word list. And then let's do a guitar. Oh no, this is a... I think it's Gunzip. Rock you. Alright, so now we got the actual, like, rock you list. We'll just run that against it. And then we need to tell it we're going to go to MySQL 10.4.10.12. I think that's right. Lame. Damn it. That's what happened last time. That's what I was worried about. Okay. So this tells me that brute forcing probably is not the issue because see how we've got this error right here? Didn't get very far, did it? Crap. All right, so we're still working on getting the official, like, first foothold. Unfortunately, as much as I don't want to, because I was hoping to get at least the foothold so we can start digging through it. At least we got the lab up and working. And sure enough, we are the only ones up this late at night, which is a bummer. So I gotta go find somebody we can raid over to. Let's go see. Let's see. Ace is on, still doing console repairs. Let's see. Who else is in science and tech right now? Let's see. You know what? Nerduino's on. I was just talking about it. I haven't got to see him. He does amazing, like, space news. I will catch up with y'all Wednesday. We'll do the news stream. And then next weekend, I should be back Saturday in time for the stream. Hopefully, it's a long drive, but we're coming back Saturday because I got a big, important church event on Sunday I got to be back for. So even though it's race weekend, I will probably be back for the Saturday night stream. I'll let you know over in Discord if I'm not going to be able to make it, but should be able to. Let me go ahead and start the raid over to Nerduino. Do me a favor, when you get over to Nerduino stream, drop a bunch of Hack the Planets and Happy Hackers in there. And then we'll figure out how to get this foothold in here. Because this is pissing me off, and I don't like being pissed off. I want to pop shells and take names. So, we'll figure it out. We'll see what we got going with it. I will catch you all Wednesday night. We'll do Hacker News. And there's going to be plenty in there because we already had a copy fail. And then we got Dirty Frag. And there's a whole new one that just came out I was seeing. I got to get the article for that. And we'll check those out. So I will catch you all Wednesday night. Remember, it's already Monday for some of y'all. Tomorrow is Monday for the other part of y'all. So that means Crushing It mode will be in full effect. We do not go weekly into the week. We go crushing it into the week. I have faith in you. Go crush it. I'll catch up with y'all Wednesday night. And I want you to remember one thing. I love you. Peace.